Hello, everyone. This is Andreas, Pop Culture Guy. Today, me and Jeff are here. He's to step out a little bit uh, to do something, but we can start now. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to this awesome review of Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings, the 2021 film, the 25th MCU film of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Very excited to review this movie with Jeff. This is one of my personal favorite MCU films after Black Panther and Iron Man, the first Iron Man film. Uh, and yeah, so just really excited. I hope you guys will enjoy this review for the nearest future. Anyway, so I'll be doing good. I hope that you guys have a great, awesome New Year's week. From last Sunday, last Sunday, and I hope the holidays went well. And this is the first 2024 live stream for the Pop Culture Guy, which is awesome. And so I'm very excited to start this new year with this awesome film and start this year in a wonderful note because this year is the 10th anniversary of the Andreas Pop Culture Guy channel presents, which I start uh, posting videos since March of 2014, and I think that was where I consistently put out some content videos ever since then. So, but we'll discuss that later down the road in this channel. But yes, so we're talking about Shang-Chi in the Legend of the Ten Rings, the 2021 film. This is, of course, directed by Destin Daniel Cretton. The screenplay is by him and two other writers, David Callaham and Andrew Lemon. Now, Andrew Lemon has collaborated with Destin with his other films like The Glass Castle and Mercy. And then David Callaham is a very prolific screenwriter. He's the one that created The Expendables. He did some production rewrite uncredited in Ant-Man. He did the screenplay with Patty Jenkins and Jeff Johns on Wonder Woman 1984. He did the reboot of Comeback. He did Zombieland 2, Double Tap. He did the story on the first Godzilla film in the Monsterverse. And of course, recently, if you didn't notice this, he actually had co-wrote with Phil and Chris Miller in the Spider-Man Cross the Spider-Verse. So he's very prolific. And then, of course, we get into the cast. We got Simu Liu, the star of Shang-Chi, alongside Awkwafina, Fala Chen, Benedict Wong, Michelle Yeoh, and of course Ben Kingsley, and then of course the main villain, Wenwu, played by Tony Leung. So now, of course, this is the film is pretty much about Shang-Chi, who is forced to confront his past when his father, Wenwu, brought up, played by Tony Leung, the leader of the Ten Rings organization, has a draw Shang-Chi and his sister Xialing into search of a mythical village, aka Talo, in the film. So, so that's the synopsis of the film. I hope you, I say, enjoy that very well. And right out of that, I will, talk about, in length. But this is one of my favorite MCU films. It's number one in my MCU ranking. If I were to do it, I think this is top tier MCU film. One of the things I really like about this film is the very much family oriented focus of the story. The father and son, the the relations of the importance of family, and of course the importance of culture, significance in their heritage. In this case, the Asian culture, which is really awesome how they do it. And I think that's one of the things I like about the MCU is when they delve into the the family territory, relationship, with brother, sister, or brothers, or the family in general. And in this case, we saw that with Guardians and then the Thor films when Loki was in the movies. And yeah, I think that's one of the things I really enjoy about this movie. And Black Panther. Black Panther also deals with family territory. But yeah, so this is my opinion of what I like about Shang-Chi. Jeff, buddy, how you doing?
Oh man, the man went live without me, folks.
Hey, I mean, I had to start the show some point.
Hey, you know what? Listen, maybe I'll just start holding my microphone up to where it belongs
Oh
on the
yeah.
thing, the arm, right? And I'll just hold
Uh-huh.
it with my arm, like as a way to multitask for my own health benefits, right? That way I can work out.
Oh, hey,
You know.
I think that sounds protective. Uh, I mean, I don't know if your arm will get tired, but hey,
I know.
you're doing-
Honestly, to tell you the truth, folks, how's it going? Jeff S. aka True Knowledge here with Mr. Time Cop, Time Lord, Andre's Pop Culture Guy, sir. What's up, sir? Shang-Chi,
yeah,
baby, let's do it. I'm sick of
yeah,
buying these freaking shock mounts, man. I'm tired of it. Like, seriously,
yeah.
I don't I don't know what it is about these stupid things, but like, honestly, for some reason, I don't know what it is about them, but they, in different ways too, they malfunction and break a lot. Believe it or not.
Really?
Honestly, and it's not like they get a ton of wear and tear. They don't. Like, I don't jerk my microphone or arm around and shit violently and all that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that chick on Dr. Phil, right? Pocahontas.
Oh my god, Pocahontas. Oh god. See, if I have the power to actually have the clip, I could play it right now.
She's like shadow boxing.
Yeah. Oh my god, that was so weird. Or her dancing, her weird, dance, which was so bizarre.
I love how the Dr. Phil people edit the stuff, right? Like how they highlight it in slow mo, and then like add colors and everything.
Yeah. Oh my god.
It's awesome, dude. They're good at it too. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, I know.
They make that 30 seconds work.
Yeah, they do. They really work. So Jeff, how was What If the show? I'm sorry I couldn't make it there. Just kind of give me a brief.
Oh, much better show. Not because you were not there, because we had better episodes to work with. I think, right?
Okay, yeah,
That's
because you did. Yeah, you got the the Grandmaster one, and
4 and 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Grandmaster one. What if Tony Stark crash landed into the Grandmaster or whatever? Mm-hmm. And then the Peggy Carter continual Peggy Carter theme story, whatnot. What if what if Peggy Carter, Captain Carter, fought the Hydra Stomper?
Okay,
that was actually a really great episode. Cyber wasn't a big fan of it, but like, you know how it is with Cyber. Like, when it comes to me anyway, a lot of times we do have a lot of like big differences sometimes on certain films and certain episodes of shows and whatnot. I mean, he has totally different. Just like you do at times. You and I probably have more in common in terms of like the themes we like and certain aspects of stuff that we find in common in episodes and stuff than I do with him.
Yeah. No. I agree. Especially animation. Like, it is going to be like a hit and miss, especially when you do these like Twilight Zone kind of shows where it's like a single piece and it's like, okay, and the runtime, it's very short for these days. It's kind of like, okay, how much they like execute, this premise that they do. Like, I like the Grandmaster. Like, what if Tony Stark like landed in Sakaar, and that was really great.
I like that. It was okay. I mean, honestly, I thought it was. I like the fact that they molded it around Ragnarok, around Thor 3, right? I like it when the episodes have some kind of theme that's cinematic based, right? Like how they did. Like I love the spin of inserting Captain Carter into the Winter Soldier,
right?
Like, part of the Cap arc in the MCU, right?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like how he can escape from his brainwash from Hydra, or whatever in the the continuity. This is why I like the the Peer Quill how do you say, face the Everybody's Heroes. Like, that's why I like that.
No, most definitely.
So, but that's what I like about it. Not to go too far. We are somewhat on a deadline right now, but like the next 2 episodes, I'm really excited for. I just putting out the episode.
Yeah, we got 2 more shows. We'll be done. Episodes 6 and 7, and then episodes 8 and 9.
Yeah, so I'm excited to talk about these two episodes. The one with the new character from the Indian culture, and then the one.
Yeah, the one they started that they created for What If.
Yeah, I'm excited for that one. That's our next episode to review, and plus Hela found the 10 rings, which I like.
Okay, so the
Like
1602 Marvel theme deal and whatnot is in the final 2 episodes.
Yeah, which is good, and I'm very excited for that too.
It'll probably be a 2-step then, like last season, right? A combined 2-parter kind of deal, right? Where they flow it from episode to episode. Like you mentioned that one time on the show recently, whatnot, right? And I would like, I was rude to you or whatever, whatnot. I was like, "Fuck you, Andres." That doesn't happen. And whatever, fuck you.
Oh my god!
I held my card up and put a big "FU" on it.
Oh my god, that was me. Yeah, I don't think it was you, buddy. But yeah. So that's gonna be our final 2 parts, which is gonna be awesome. It's gonna be awesome to see Doctor Strange again, and such. So so far, this season 2, What If, pretty good, pretty awesome.
Yeah, no, I mean, hey, we're gonna get a lot of Marvel animation. I want to say that I think it was probably earlier today or yesterday, last night. I saw something on YouTube from some creator about they gave a release date, I think, for one of the animated series.
Yeah. What was it? Something.
Is it the Spider-Man one?
Yeah, I think it's the Spider-Man one. Just give me a second.
Or was it X-Men 97?
I don't think they have scheduled yet.
No, they haven't. No, you're right. They haven't. I think it's I believe it was it's a Emergency Awesome said that the Cosmic Wonder both contend that they believe that the show will come out between April and May, I believe, or excuse me, March and April, and it'll probably come out in March.
Yeah. Like
they said summer. They said beginning of summer. MCU did. Marvel did. Right?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, Jeff. Can you give me a minute?
Go ahead. Anyways, folks, I will carry on by myself, right? Because everyone likes to be alone. You know what I mean? It's a good place to be, right? At least I'm alone in the year 2025. Or wait a minute. I'm sorry. I'm tripping already. Am I tripping? Is it 2020? It's 2025, right? Or is it 2024? Jesus Christ, Jeff. Get your shit together, man. And look at my damn phone, folks. That's rough. Oh, the year's not on my phone. Damn, that's actually kicking my ass. It's 2024, not 2025. There you go, folks. Look, the MCU's Bleeding Edge at its best right here. Jeff S., a.k.a. True Knowledge, killing it, right? Repping as a guest, holding down the show solo, cannot figure out what year it is, right? After New Year's Day just happened like a week ago, less than a week ago. There you go, folks. True Knowledge at my essence. I've been debating with the imaginary people about what year it is.
Oh yeah, what year?
Yeah, if it's 2024 or 2025.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, I'm losing my memory, bro. It's like I'm all of a sudden I like I don't even know. It just fell out.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sorry. Some emergency happened. Anyway. Yeah. So I mean, right now I can see maybe X-Men 97 drop off before Deadpool 3 because that just makes sense to what's the word?
Connect it or correlate it in some way or precept it or whatever.
Yeah, precept it, because like we're this month, like this year, when it got one MCU film and it's a Fox X-Men film, so it kind of makes sense. It will be in the summer to be released, maybe in June.
Oh, you mean on Disney Plus? Yeah, they are. Yeah. You're right. I saw that article too, and it kind of threw me off at first. The way that they wrote the title. It threw me off at first. I thought there was another. I thought that's what I thought it was. I thought that they had announced another animated release date off that. Right. I was all excited.
Yeah.
I want to know. I anytime I can go in the scheduling book and actually be able to like lock down a certain like part of the year, at least put down in the book. A series we're going to cover. That's good.
Yeah, I agree.
At least there's something.
I hope they announce the release date soon. I mean, for one show, like I'm trying to remember. I think March we knew Secret Invasion was coming out in July or something like that, or it was maybe May or June, something like that.
I'm not sure. I can't remember. Did Secret Invasion have a fixed release date? Did it maintain it?
No,
I can't remember.
No. It was very secret until.
Oh, that's right. It was pushed off. It was pushed back. That's right.
Yeah, it was pushed back, I think. And
did you hear that they might push Ironheart all the way back until they can connect it to Armor Wars?
Yes, I did heard about that.
But they already filmed 3/4 of the first season.
I mean, it's Marvel.
The whole thing is already filmed or something like that. I think I can't remember.
It's
partially filmed, I believe, the season.
It's partially filmed. I think it had to stop because of the strike, but
they did.
I think that they're maybe waiting for it to be connected.
It's on pause right now. It's either on pause or it's loosely maybe on that cancellation list.
Yeah. Hold on.
Because they're reshuffling.
Yeah, I mean they're reshuffling everything.
Yeah, it makes sense. No, honestly, and I think, and I don't want to stay off too course of the Shang-Chi film, although we've both already reviewed it before.
Yeah.
What do you call it? But no, honestly, it's weird. It's weird to have like Disney Plus stuff coming out this year and whatnot, and not knowing what any of it's coming out except Echo, right?
Yeah.
It's strange as an MCU fan to be in that place. Kind of, it's weird. We're kind of used to it now, but it's still strange.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it's the fall of Bob Chapek. I mean, the fact that he pumped so many content, it was just so ridiculous. And like I think this year saw that the content, like the condensation of Bob Chapek's actions of quantity over quality, and I think that really hurt Marvel this year in 2023. Well, last year in 2023. So it's good that they're slowing down. And, if they have the projects that are ready and that doesn't are not as important in the multiverse saga, they can release it, and so that's good. Like Echo, it makes a lot of sense we have it now because it will help set up Daredevil Oregon for next year, whatever that will be released. Disney Plus, whatnot. And on the X-Men, it makes sense, because Deadpool 3 is coming out and we're getting the X-Men stuff, rapidly in the MCU. So makes sense to have it now, this year. And the Marvel Zombies makes sense. It's a spinoff from What If, and that's good. And then the last one, the Spider-Man one, makes a lot of sense. Like we want to expand a little bit of Spider-Man content, because right now, I mean, we're having a good, 2 years of Spider-Man content, with Cross the Spider-Verse and, No Way Home. And, I don't want to talk about the Sony stuff with the villains, but yeah. So it's weird, but, it happened. I mean, we kind of experienced that with Loki and Secret Invasion. So they didn't tell us when it was going to drop. And they waited until that because, the danger is if you announce it ahead of time and then all of a sudden it gets pushed back and then it gets kind of really annoying and people will be less excited about the project,
I do, yes.
So I think that's what they're doing right now is just keeping everything close to the chest with these projects and say, look, they're happening this year, but we're going to wait until we reveal the release date and all that. So, but yeah, I think what it sounds like, it makes sense with the summer and fall release dates. That makes sense for these projects to come out that, it makes sense for me, early April through maybe September, we'll probably get these projects, in the Disney Plus windows.
And Shang-Chi 2 needs to come out. They need to that should come out in 2025, shouldn't it? Based off when Shang-Chi came out?
Yeah. Or this year. You think about it, it's been 3 years since this movie came out. So yeah. So, let's now get into, Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I already expressed my love of the film. I'd say that it's one of my favorite personal MCU films. Top tier is in my ranking of number one. What's your thoughts, Jeff, on this film? How high is in your ranking of the MCU films? Is it high tier, mid tier? Like, tell me. And is this better? Was it better enjoyment in rewatch?
Flush out which the discrepancy. What do you mean by like when you say high tier? Like what films? Do I think it's in the top tier, like the A level of MCU films?
Yeah, A level, and then like the mid tiers, like the S tiers, like Doctor Strange, or
I'd put it there. I would, yes.
Okay.
I don't know. I don't know what. I think everyone has a different label for that stuff, right? Maybe for those categories, kind of, right? It's sort of self, because we all have a different feel about that stuff. But no, I mean, look, you know how I feel about this stuff. I do like, for the most part, with the exception of just a very, very, very small handful, literally 2 or 3 MCU films, maybe 2, right? There, where literally I question people a little bit on them trying to put it up, as like an upper crust MCU film. That'd be like, Love and Thunder, Captain Marvel, right?
Okay.
Putting them in top 5 MCU films, just to me, I mean, I'm sorry, but like, it's almost like, did you see the same movie I saw? You know what I'm saying? Like, or Wakanda Forever too. I'm sorry, but like, no way. But no, I would say that my desire from an optimist, being a typically very optimistic Marvel MCU fan, right? That tries to stick with that as much as it can be difficult for all of us, that even are the most optimistic, right? We still can be a little bit jaded, especially when we do all the time and cover this stuff and whatnot, right? And really break it down. You know how that lens starts to shift a little bit more analytically. You know what I mean? From time over time and whatnot. We talked about that before. You get a little bit, more critique, more critical about some of the content and whatnot than maybe you used to over time. The more that you cover more content in general, more shows, more movies, it all just starts to build up. Like I just watched -1. Trevor last night, dude. It was fucking kick my ass, bro. There was at least 3 or 4 or 5 different moments where I had to like just stop and look at Trevor and be like, what? Right? Like, what? Seriously? Come on now. What is this, Oppenheimer shit?
Oh my god, it was.
Seriously, dude. What the fuck?
For kaiju, it is awesome.
Seriously. Like, I mean, what were they? I mean, that movie's probably going to get like a Japanese version of an Academy Award as like a drama.
Hey, I hope it gets recognition. I mean, it's one of the best.
It should get international recognition, without question.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I've never watched a full Japanese movie before. I never have until this one, so I wouldn't know what to compare it to. I don't think it's fair to judge like one of the anime movies they've made, like Attack on Titan or whatever, right? Or Naruto or something. I don't think that's fair to compare that stuff to like. I'm assuming that all Japanese cinema is not like that, right? Like,
I mean, it's very diverse.
Whoever that actor is that played the main character, and then the woman that was the wife, right, that blew away to a different country, and then somehow survived like the hurricane, and shit, right? From the ice, beam shit. That shit was fucking crazy. How they did that, man. Yeah. They did some serious stuff to change things up. They really did. With what they gave the audience things with Godzilla that no one's seen, right? That we've never that's never been really looked. It's never been viewed. No one cared where he's from, what he wanted, none of that, right?
No.
Now Trevor wants to see it again. He wants to see it again.
Oh, that's good to hear. I mean, I hope one of my friends tell me they want to see it, and I can see it again because he
started tripping because I called it that the wife survived. Just I did on the show with you with that rating, I called it. I was like, "Yo, now that a hero dude managed to somehow survive 2 kamikaze missions, right, for the first time in history, the chick has to be alive now, right?"
Yeah, my mom was thinking about that same. Like, she told me that she probably survived.
Yeah, I told Trevor right there. I was like, "Yeah, she blew away to a different country, and somehow landed in like a soft tree, and only broke her arm. That's it."
Oh my god,
She landed in Ireland.
Ireland. I thought she landed in what was it, in the water or something,
Oh
like
my
the
god.
beach. Oh my god. It's good to hear you like Godzilla -1. It's a great film.
It was funny. I was sort of laughing my ass off when she was alive. I was like, you gotta be kidding me, bro. I'm sorry, folks. But no, with Shang-Chi, I came into it. I told Trevor, I was like, my feeling is that I want to believe that I'm gonna walk away from rewatching it on some level feeling more positive about the
Okay.
movie in some way, probably, right? Maybe even significantly than I did in the theater. That didn't happen.
Okay.
All it did was reinforce to me like the flaws that I noticed about it in the first place, even
Okay.
heavier.
Okay. Okay. We can discuss that more in depth.
Yeah,
I'm kind of
there's not a
curious.
ton of them. You know what I'm saying? It's just,
Okay.
it's yeah. I don't want to. I'm not trying to say the whole film is flawed. I'm just saying
Mhm.
every movie has flaws, right? This one's just happened to be in areas that have to do with the actual structure of this of like the thirds and segments of the show, right? You know what I'm saying, right? You have the core, right? The sort of spine of the movie. That's where some of the flaws are for me.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, it's pretty good. I'm very curious about those flaws. I mean, it's not a perfect movie. I mean, a lot of people will bring up, the third act. It's kind of weak, but we'll get into that.
I think
But
it could have been a better movie.
okay. Okay, that's fine. Hey, I understand that. I think the first two acts, like for me, the first two acts were
Yep.
really strong. I think that's the movie's strength. It's just like we get into like the village and then like the
Yep. You're right. That's what you called it. That's what I told. And you know what? Right at the same time that I said that to Trevor, he started the fight, fell off right there.
yeah.
Right. Literally, he started to fall off. He said, "I'm getting bored." Right, and then he couldn't finish the movie.
Wow.
Remember, he has the bad ADHD like I do, like me. Like he has
Okay.
ADD. Right. So,
Yeah.
we already walked out of Aquaman 2.
Oh yeah. I can see why.
Oh yeah, we couldn't do it, man.
No. I wasn't surprised. And look, good for you. I was surprised I stuck that long because that beginning was kind of.
I almost left in like the first 5 minutes. I did.
Ugh.
In my head, I didn't say anything to Trevor, but I almost thought about just leaving. I was like, if this is how it's going to be, like,
Yeah. Not to go into argument too, but like
no, I know.
but Patrick Wilson as Ocean Master is the only reason you watch that movie. For me, like he was
Yeah,
the saving grace.
I like Patrick Wilson too. You know that.
Yeah, great actor. He's a great night owl. He's great villain as Ocean Master,
Yep.
and like he was the best thing about this.
There's one of the one of the best parts of the Watchmen, of the ensemble cast that made up that movie.
Oh yeah, behind like Jackie O'Haley as Rorschach, like nothing beats them.
If they would have given us an HBO series of that team, right? I would that I am telling you right now, I would have loved reviewing.
Yeah,
but no. Hey, they've got to. I mean, hey, if they're going to do a trilogy with Shang-Chi, which they probably will, right? If they're going to, I mean, I mean, we have to assume that Marvel, that the MCU is going to continue to keep some of its key staple, right, stuff, like like structures, right? So even if they only give them a second film, they're still going to do another film, so they have a chance to better the first one.
Oh yeah, definitely. I believe.
And for me as a fan, that will make me feel better about the first movie.
Yeah. So, like for me, what will make it better is if they pay off like the 2 post-credit scenes that we get here. The beacon thing, whatever that means, and then of course, Shang-Chi's sister, running the 10 rings, because that's a big plot point that they haven't yet, picked up on, which I hope they do. And see if they make like her sister maybe a villain for the next movie, like sort of like Loki or Nebula kind of levels. I think she has potential to make the film better.
How do you pronounce her name?
Xialing. It's Xial.
Yep.
And Ing. Xiling. It's tough.
That's what I was telling Trevor earlier, was that not just my memory being a little bit off lately, which it has been a little bit spotty. But no, in general, like this since it's been so long, I think so far off since we covered this, and this was something we were talking about, like way up to it, right? At one point, right, for a long stretch of time, the characters in this movie were ones that I could rip off any given time. It's just been so damn long since I've talked about this stuff.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the problems right now is like, Marvel is not capitalizing on the great success on certain characters that people like. Like Elena from Black Widow, like she's a good example. Like they're doing a good job of bringing her back a couple of times, in Hawkeye, and then we're going to see her again next year, with the Thunderbolts, which is great. And a lot of people like this movie, minus the promos, but like people really like this film. They think it was a good, solid, solo film, and I'm kind of surprised we haven't picked up on these characters. Like, there was a time when I thought maybe we'd see a variant of Shang-Chi and Doctor Strange too. That was like a rumor at the time.
I never heard that rumor.
Yeah, it was a crazy rumor. Yeah, it was, I think it was before the trailer when the rumors of the Professor X became more speculation, but at the time, like, Sean, because Xialing had him and Katie played by Awkwafina, they interacted with Wong, and so it made a lot of sense, have maybe a variant, but whatnot. But we didn't get that.
No, I get what you're saying. That would have been interesting.
Yeah. And and speaking of what if, it's good that we brought up what if in the show, but like the fact that we're getting another 10 rings centric, I kind of like that, because that lore and information about the 10 rings is so cool. And this is where we could jump in. Like, I really love the opening of seeing the father, Wenwu, who's a great villain, by the way. I think he's a top tier MCU villain. And I love the beginning where we see, the montage of Wenwu and the 10 rings, like attacking these kind of historic moments that we see. Here's the Spanish, colonialism, and then we see this like government temple in London. It's really cool, and I really like that montage and learning who Wenwu is before he met his wife. So I'm going to ask you, what you thought about the opening? I thought it was really great to.
They're pretty brief. They spent a lot more time on the wife scene with him, right, than they did actually trying to build up his character at all, whatnot, in terms of like actually giving us that more info of what he did during all that time, right? Don't get me wrong. Until you mentioned it, it never occurred to me like, oh, it would have been nicer if maybe they would have given us a little bit more of an extension on that original flashback aspect. I don't care that it doesn't matter to me at all. It's never bothered me that they never actually reveal where the 10 rings came from.
No.
I always just assumed that it would come out through the MCU in some way. They would connect them to another MacGuffin type thing, right? In some way, Infinity Stone level or category type gem or device or something, right? Would connect to it. Or maybe they'd go comic book authentic, and they would try to bring in some kind of alien race. Like, again, I don't remember their names anymore now, but during like the when the movie was in my lexicon in my head, I can bring that right up and talk about it, right?
Yeah, actually, I can bring up the creatures.
You only see them in the comics, like literally through the Shang-Chi shit, through the 10 rings.
Yeah. Usually, so this is fascinating because in the Iron Man comics, because I want to bring up, Wenwu is a mixture of Family Chu, who was the father for Shang-Chi in the comics, and then he's also a mix of the Mandarin from the comics. In the Mandarin comics, in Iron Man, the 10 rings in his fingers were alien technology, and then these creatures were called the Megaran or something like that. It starts with another M.
I'm gonna pull it up. I can pronounce their name.
Yeah, and Jeff knows what I'm saying, but like they're alien race that built the 10 rings, and I knew when we got to the post-credit scene with Captain Marvel and Dr. Banner they were saying the beacon, and that makes a lot of sense that they're doing that. And I can see that potentially be a sequel for Shang-Chi, for them to kind of like maybe pick that up, and like Sean is maybe pull into like searching the origins of the Ten Rings, and like we'll probably learn more about if the Ten Rings was with some other person besides his father. That could be a good exploration of the Ten Rings like that. But yeah, it makes a lot of sense that they will keep that like alien origin. A lot of people.
Well, if you don't mind, Andres, if you don't mind for real quick and whatnot and everything, I just wanted to put in there that I know you probably heard that for a minute there and everything and whatnot, there was an assumption that made a lot of logical sense to me by a lot of bigger creators and also some of the spoiler crowd, right? The what do you call them? Whatever they're called, the sources, whatever, that are known for Twitter and whatnot, like Daniel RPK. Those types, my time to shine, right?
Yeah.
The subreddits and whatnot and all that, right? But basically for the longest time there, the feeling was, and I grasped, I thought this too when I saw Quantumania, that they were probably just gonna connect Kang to the Ten Rings. But now I don't know.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have to talk about I just so you know, I've been working on loosely on ideas for our initial segments for the show for at least half of the first segment, and then kind of saving the other half, the other hour, or whatever you want to call it, right? You know what I mean? Open, right? But we'll have something for half of it. Do you know what I'm saying? So there's something written down almost. I've been trying to get that done for the next month or two now, and then going forward. Just trying to forecast, and then we'll change it.
Yeah.
And now that we've covered what happened with Majors with with his legal situation. We're gonna have to cover out. We really need to next Monday, not next Monday, but the Monday after. I was thinking maybe it might be a good idea for us to go ahead and talk about the impact of the phase 5 and phase 6 and forward, going forward to the MCU of what's going to happen now with Majors.
Yeah, and I mean, and plus the rumors of they're maybe recasting Kang. I don't know. You've been seeing the rumors.
They will. They'll recast him.
Yeah, like I've seen the actor from in Walking Dead or playing that's going to be Kane or something like that.
I feel like there's 25 different reasons why it makes sense to keep him recast.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like I don't see how it makes sense to just take him out, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, everyone's been saying just replace a actor, just replace Jonathan Majors. It doesn't make it makes sense. I mean, it's not a big deal.
Again, though, think about it. I never thought about it like this. The flip side, if you were gonna just eliminate him, the best way to do it would be just to wipe him off the slate, right? Nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like that's it, right?
Yeah.
You bring in Doom, right? You bring in
whoever.
Mr. Sinister or something, right? You know what I'm saying, right? Something like that.
Yeah.
Some names, right? People will know and have an idea, and especially since Sinister is going to be the main villain of X-Men 97, season 1, right? Season 6 of the X-Men animated, or 5 or whatever.
6.
No. At that point, no, you get where I'm going with this.
Yeah. No.
No, the Ten Rings thing has fallen off the face of the MCU Earth since Shang-Chi, right?
Yeah.
Since that end credit scene, whatever, whatnot, it's fallen off the face of the earth. So all I can tell you is just that the energy that comes off Wenwu with the rings, that blue energy, is very similar in color to the energy that Kang uses in Quantumania and powers the city down there in the quantum realm, right?
Yeah. No, Jeff. That's always been a rumor. That was always, I think, the idea. I think it was. This was after Loki season 1 came out in July. 3 years ago, season 1, and so that connection made a lot of sense. And now, I mean, and then also the Bengals. I don't want to not add in, but the Bengals from Miss Marvel, and then in the Marvels recently, last year, the Ten Rings is somehow connected too with the Bengals. It was just, it's not like it's falling off. It's just like, what are you doing with this 10 rings? Like, is it connected to Kane? Is it connected to the multiverse? Like, what's going on with here? And they haven't addressed that properly. And I
they're not gonna bring back the McLuhans. The McLuhan race, remember that's how they pronounce it. It's McLuhan.
Okay.
Luan. McLuhan with a K. McLuhan. Almost like a Scottish last name, like a Scottish name, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Think
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
Like my wife's last name, Mech Broom, not Mick Broom, Mech Broom, right?
Okay. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Scottish.
Yeah. It's
Not Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah. No. No. What I'm saying is that would make no sense. Inserting the McLuhans, it's like, look, even hardcore comic book fans that know more about the comics than I do, some of them don't even know about them, right? They have no idea who the hell they are.
No.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I don't blame them, right? Like, so I never knew who they were until Shang-Chi came out. I didn't know about the McLuhans, but like, no, it would make no sense to stick them in the MCU. How do you can't cameo a McLuhan alien? Like, what the fuck? You know what I'm saying? Like, with nothing, like no information or whatever, right? Like, here they are. Besides that, like, we don't even, no one, that's the thing. The way they handled it, no one needs to see a flashback to like the original. We don't need to see it, where it came from, whatever, whatnot. We have to see it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah, that's very true.
They did a good job. Daniel, what's his name? Cretton.
Destin Daniel Cretton. Yeah.
Yeah, they did a great job, and the writers. I know he helped with write the film, didn't he?
Yes, with two other writers I brought up in the beginning of the show.
Are all three of them? Now I just wanted to ask you quick. I know that we only have so much time to work with.
Yeah.
And there's always a lot to cover, right? It's always a good thing to have stuff on the table that we wish we could have talked about, right? It's a positive thing. It's fodder for other shows. But no, that's what I'm kind of trying to do is I'm trying to flush my head out of anything Shang-Chi and like connected right now. I have this tendency, right? From like I'll do a lot of shows on the Bleeding Edge like I used to do. You know, you've seen them titled like MCU news specials and stuff like that and whatnot. Where like every time we would talk about any kind of character or whatnot, it would just jump into whatever connection. You know what I mean? Like however, you know what I'm saying, phase whatever, this show, whatever, this movie, right? And we would just go. You know what I mean?
I mean,
that's the MCU. That's why it's fun to be a fan because of the interconnectivity, right? And like the overarching story that has all the no matter what you do that ends up with these holes.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, if it could have been interesting if they connected to the negative zone, which it housed analysis, the other Fantastic Four villains that Galactus, like that could be possible. Like
that's the thing, and again that's a show that's for a show when we want to talk about nothing but like comic book accurate type fans and the ones that are hardcore about that, and that's it. Like it's either like this, it's either comic book accurate or like throw it in the garbage types. That like, and don't get me wrong, some of the people still make good points sometimes, and they are right on some stuff. They're not always wrong or whatever, right? Yeah. I've been wrong with some of them before when they've said stuff like, on the shows. I just want to point out though that when it comes to things like you mentioned the neutral zone or the void, for instance, right? Look how they did with the void, right? Negative zone. Look what they did with the void, right? That's one of the cool aspects of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Its landscape is that in the process of transitioning these stories from comic book form into these digital cinematic and TV forms, they sort of have that room, that wiggle room. They do, even with the comic book accurate fans, where if it makes sense for the overarching story, right, and it does work, if it's entertaining and it seems logical, right, and it doesn't in any way disrespect anything or like in any way rub against anything known to be classic or heavily remembered in a certain way, as long as they don't stray too far, right? They can kind of mess around with stuff like that,
Yeah, they can, and plus plus and for like quarterly, like how you say, you brought up how if the sequel comes out and make this movie better, this movie also helped other movies that people maybe didn't like make it better. Like this movie makes Iron Man 3 so much better if you didn't like the Mandarin twist, and Trevor, because that was the cool part about this film that I really liked, that they addressed, the whole Trevor, the fake Mandarin thing. Because, a lot of people don't know this, but 11 years ago, it was a big deal that they didn't do the comic accurate Mandarin thing. And I thought that, I grown with the twist, and I did like Trevor in Iron Man 3. He's very funny, and he's funny here in this movie with Morris, which I love, that creature. The chicken pig, they call it. I think they did a really good job of paying off the Iron Man 3 thing and the Oh Hell the King short that they kind of retconned that. But yeah, what you thought about, like this made you, like Jeff, tell me, like this make you like Iron Man 3 more, or like lessen some of the Ten Ring stuff from the other early MCU films, like the first Iron Man film and Iron Man 3? Like, tell me, you think this movie made those better?
No, it did. It never really that conversation or that wrinkle or whatever you want to call it, whatever, whichever way you want, whatever term you want to use, was never something that was a big deal for me personally, right? I sort of just kind of looked at it as part of the build up and a stepping block, right, of the MCU overall, of the phases, right? Just another film, you know what I'm saying, where because of when it came out, right, and how it came out as Iron Man 3, right? Honestly, it didn't kill me in the movie. Okay. What they did, it didn't, right? It didn't take away completely any entertainment or enjoyment of it. But I think, and at the same time too, you know how it is with Robert Downey Jr., right? Like when Iron Man 3 came out, by then he'd already cemented himself as like the god of the MCU, right? I mean, so at that point, like nobody had anything bad to say about him.
No.
Right? Like nobody says anything bad about him. I never see anybody else come on the show and badmouth Iron Man, right? Or Captain America. You ever notice that? Nobody ever does.
I mean, no. I mean, again, because the MCU did such a good job of like developing Iron
characters. Man. That's right. If they had made the laughing stock out of them, people probably would make fun of them.
Exactly. That's why it's been a problem with Thor and Hulk in the MCU, because they just make fun of them, and it's annoying.
You made a good point. Bouncing off Shang-Chi, right? That it's to answer, I mentioned to you where I'm at with beyond the Mandarin thing, where I kind of how I feel about it beyond that. Well, I'll start with that. Where I'm at with that is this conversation makes me think about the fact that I've already been thinking about wanting to really devote more time this year as sort of like a New Year's resolution, but only for the show kind of deal. It's to read more comics, right? Use my Marvel Unlimited subscription more, because I basically just waste it right now. And go back to I used to always go ahead and try to make an effort to read comics before we covered series, right? If it worked, if it helped in any way, I would do it, right? If I could find a storyline that was relevant to what we were covering with the show, I would read it, or at least some of it, right? Get a feel for it. Get back to that comic book feel, retouch it, right? Sort of rejoin that energy. And I'd like to dig back into that and kind of not deep dive, but just get more back into. I think it would bring back a little bit more of my optimism and love for the MCU in general, right?
Yeah.
If you know what I'm saying, I don't know if I just try to make an effort, to try to make time for comics here and there more. So just so I could kind of, continue to, kind of remind myself and also find new information about the comics to be able to bring up when we have these conversations.
Yeah. Soon I need to do that with Armor Wars, because I haven't read that story yet, and I'm pretty much kept up. I understand where you covered from, because there's a lot of story, Batman stories I haven't read yet, and that the movies are inspired by, and I always get kind of curious to read them, and just the time and schedule and effort. It's always been too busy.
I never read any of the big series in the Iron Man comics, because I never actually it was never. The Iron Man comics I remember were the ones that my dad ordered subscriptions on, right before I really started collecting on my own through him.
Yeah,
through my parents. On my own, I never chose Iron Man as one of my titles, like bi-weekly or monthly, whatever, whatnot. But my dad had a massive stack of like the 80s and early 90s Iron Man issues, right?
That's good.
And so that became a part of my collection, of obviously, right?
Yeah,
it assimilated into it or whatever, whatnot. So I did read a lot of Iron Man. It just was random, right? There'd be skips in between, in between. The episode runs and whatnot, right? There'd be breaks where I wouldn't have it. A couple books. There'd be gaps. More Spider-Man, right? Captain America, probably. Avengers. Would have been and like Ghost Rider, the Midnight Sun stuff. The X-Men would have been where I would have gotten a lot of my crossover, like Infinity Gauntlet level type shit. No, but I never read any Shang-Chi.
No,
I've never read a Shang-Chi comic before.
I heard the recent ones are pretty good, and the old ones from the 70s were very good. I mean, they were penned by really good writers, so I can never they did borrow a lot of from the Shang-Chi comics. It just they kind of combined them into newer characters, like Xialing, the sister for Shang-Chi. She's like a combination of 5 different characters in the Shang-Chi comics that they gave Shang-Chi a sister, and she's like a combination of all 5 of them, and then same thing with his father, like there is a father that run a evil organization from the comics, which this movie does do very well, and they combine 2 different characters to make it simplify, more understanding than the comics, because the 70s run of Shang-Chi, it was Fan Manchu, which was the stereotypical Chinese villain in TV and movies back then. And so it makes sense not to do it in this movie. And then, and of course, they have the Mandarin, which they didn't properly do. So they mix it with, this new version of Wenwu, which I like.
I don't like the character with Tony Leung coming out the way it did. I think it could have been better.
Oh, really?
He could have been better. Tony Leung's a better actor than they let him be. He could have been a better Mandarin.
Okay, I we can disagree. I can understand.
He didn't carry a big enough stick at times, I didn't think, in the film, right? And it made no sense to me that like he'd be alive for thousands of years and shit. It'd be this like this massive crime lord, right, with all this knowledge. Yet he'd be the class idiot of the entire team, the entire squad that actually believes the wife came back to life and is behind this fucking wall.
Yeah, I see that. I cannot.
This is the 10 Rings exist doesn't mean that like people come back from like the dead.
No. I mean,
they don't in the comic, and even in the comics, they don't come back from the dead unless there's like a real tangible reason, right? Like magic or the Darkhold or some shit, right? A lot of times it's bad shit that happens, right, to make it happen.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Yeah.
I mean, they explained that the rings give him immortality. So
that's what I'm saying, though. Like, why did he all of a sudden get stupid? Right?
I mean, see, I can get.
Him and his Shang-Chi and his sister could have made like literal jokes, laughing at him at certain points, right before the third section of the film, and just started like laughing at him openly. Like, bruh, you're fucking stupid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you change your name.
Change the name. Well, I mean, look, I agree with you. I mean, he was not thinking right in the film, but I understand that he's that desperate to get his wife back. I think my biggest problem with that is I don't need this whole like other villain, this kaiju dragon that.
What? Oh, well, you know what? I mean, the dragon stuff almost got confusing to me today. I've been watching it before the review, and in the theater, I was confused. I was like, wait a minute, why are there multiple dragons now? Right? Yeah. Like, what the hell? Like, how many dragons are we gonna have here? But like again, what does it tell you, right? Again, that like
even kids, young kids that are 13, 15 years old, watch this stuff and they see the same stuff we do, right?
Yeah.
That are MCU fans. They dislike certain things just like we don't. Like that, they don't like a certain act in the film. That's when they fall off too, right? Like it's sort of across the board. But no, I thought that what screwed me up, Andreas, honestly, was that second trailer for Shang-Chi.
Okay.
Tony Leung was such a freaking gangster. He was such a boss, like a stone cold boss in that trailer.
Yeah.
But they cut out that part where he's like, "Don't you speak to me ever like that, boy."
Yeah.
That was fucking nails, bruh.
I love that.
In that trailer,
Yeah.
I was like, "Yo, what? Like in freaking -1." I was like, "What? Tony Leung? What? Are you kidding me, bruh?"
Yeah, I know. Because he could play a great villain. I mean,
when they showed that side angle of him in the flashback with the rings extending for the first time off his arm, right? Oh my God. I was like, what? Like the first trailer, I was worried. I was openly, publicly worried about the film. Then the second trailer dropped, and I'm like, yo, wait a minute here. Shang-Chi's gonna be the bomb.
Yeah.
Tony Leung is the OG.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like, because for me, one of the things I like about this film, because it felt like a street level, like family drama. Like that was the thing I liked about the film, and that's why I like
a combination of sort of those themes.
Yes, exactly, and that's why I liked about that. And I think that's the reason I like Wenwu as a villain, because it's personal with Shang-Chi, and we'll get into this, but one of the reasons that we got the third act is because the Marvel. If you guys haven't read the book, the Reign of Marvel Studios, or the behind of Marvel Studios books, if you have those, talked about this Marvel parliament, where they were kind of like the community of executive producers looking through the film, and and they will kind of rewrite and rework the film if it doesn't work. And apparently,
Feige's in a circle of people.
Yeah, exactly. And it seems like they thought that maybe the third act wasn't big enough, and like they needed to add this random like side plot that Wenwu is mind control or being tricked by this evil spirit that the village is protecting. Like, okay, I like, this movie is mystical, and that's fine. Like the rings, like I don't have a problem with that. That's the thing I like about this film. Like it's like Conjuring Tiger, Hidden Dragon like level, which is great. But
I mentioned that to Trevor. I mentioned the title of that film like probably 3 times.
Oh really? Oh, that's cool. Great film, by the way. Great, love that film.
I had to mention it. I had to mention it during the scenes with Wenwu and the wife.
Yeah,
and especially with the 4K TV, right?
Yeah.
Oh man, watch. That was what I was going to tell you. That's the one note I took throughout the whole film. I took one note, and that was to let you know.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I've talked to you before about how the watching things now on the 4K TV kind of screws me up sometimes.
Yes. Yeah.
Because I've gotten so used to for so many decades the what you see from the regular televisions, right? Your standard format. Yeah. So having this like 4K TV, man, I told you at first, it really threw me off. Like, it does. I don't know. I can't be alone, right? Like it's different. No. It's just a big change.
No.
I mean, things you've already seen look different in some areas, right? Some scenes, certain shots, they just move differently, right? The characters look more vivid. The people look more real.
Yeah, and if you don't do it right, like you can see the color palette of
with the effects and things like that and whatnot too. It does affect the color palette and the color schemes. I mentioned that to Trevor, that the 4K affects it. You see colors differently.
Yeah, by the way, Jeff, be careful when you buy either the Batman films, the Tim Burton ones, because for some reason they messed up the color palette of that film, and it doesn't look what they are in standard formats, what they should be. And it looks so far the Shang-Chi didn't have that problem, which is good. I mean, and also it's like a modern film with digital cameras that Marvel Studios have been using, so it's a lot easier than the older films where they were traditional filming cameras. If you know your information of filmmaking. Yeah. I mean, Shang-Chi looks great in the film. It's great. Like cinematography is great. The 4K, as Jeff brought up, is really great. Getting back to the Parliament.
When Michelle Yeoh popped out, I had to mention the Crouching Tiger again too. I'm like, oh shit, there's Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah. She's great in this movie. I'm so happy she got a role here because she, by the way, Easter egg. If you don't know this, she was in Guardians Volume 2. If you don't know that, this is her second time being the MCU. She was one of the members of the early Guardians with Yandu and the Stallone character. I forgot his name.
I can't remember. Loki's mom used to know his name. She was the one person that always knew his name because she loved him.
Yeah,
Captain something Starhawk or some shit like that.
Yes, it's Starhawk or something like that. It's played by Stallone.
Did Michelle Yeoh play in Boba Fett? Was that her in Boba Fett? Who was it that played? What's her name? What's her name?
It's Min Yen. She voiced the original Mulan from the Mulan.
That's who she is. Yes.
And she played May in the Agents of Shield TV show.
Yes.
That I watch, and she's great in that show. If you have a chance to watch that show.
No, I've seen her in other things too and whatnot. Everything, right? She played the assassin character that Boba saved, and added those robotic implants or whatever whatnot to save her life.
Was she in the first season in Menlo by any chance?
No. Yes. No. She was. Wasn't it the second season?
I'm trying to think.
No, the first and the second, when both her and Boba come together and they help him rescue Grogu, right? So what's his name?
I don't know. I just know that she either because I know second season Ahsoka comes in, and that's where Elizabeth also comes in.
See, again, my memory is so spotty lately. I was trying to remember this guy's name, the main villain of Mandalorian season 3. His name before like a week or two ago, I was trying to remember his name and I couldn't remember it. That African American actor portrays him.
Moff Gideon.
Moff Gideon, yes, Moff Gideon. The one that's wielded the Darksaber before. Remember when he stole Grogu, right?
Okay.
And it was Yannick Panic-Shan or whatnot, right? And Boba helped Mando get him back.
Okay. Yeah. I think it has to be either season 2 or 1. I'm just.
It is. But again, it could be either one. I can't remember. It's either the end of season 1 or the end of season 2.
Yeah, I'm looking at it now. Yeah. So Franklin Sam popped up. Okay, in chapter 5 of the Gunslinger. That is in the first season, and then she was killed in chapter 14. Did
Mando appear in Boba Fett?
Yes. Because remember, Roku and Mandalore came back together in Boba Fett because of Kathleen Kennedy wanted. Apparently, she wanted them back, which is weird. So yeah, she the Sand character comes back in second season, and she dies in chapter 14 called Tragedy. So yes, so it probably happened in the second season. But yeah. So getting back to the Marvel Parliament. This is what I mean with the Disney movies, in general. For them reshooting stuff and restructuring story doesn't make sense. If you allow Kang to kill Ant-Man and or leave Ant-Man and the Wasp in the quantum realm, that could have been more interesting and make the story more satisfying for your viewers, right? Or the Marvels. Keep the stuff with Monica and Carol's what do you call it, stranded relation more, the movie could have been better. And here, for me, it's leave out this evil spirit thing for the sequel and keep Wenwu as the main villain. That's it. We don't need this evil spirit thing. It just doesn't make sense. And it just becomes more
the third segment's already losing people. It's already losing the entertainment value already. You know what I'm saying at that point, right? So it's
yeah.
What they get to once they add more layers, you almost don't even. It's hard to even you know what I'm saying. You get what I'm going with this.
Yeah,
you're like, why bother? You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? Why even bother pointing this out? Because You already lost me when freaking Awkwafina like started banging like bullseyes and whatnot the first time she ever picked up a bow and arrow in her entire damn life, right?
Yeah.
You know, she went from the comedy relief for like the whole film, and she was effective in it, to like all of a sudden they wanted to all give her a power up so she could be on the Avengers in the third segment.
Yeah. I mean, it could have made sense if she had the arrow to fight humans. Like, that makes sense.
No, it makes sense now. It does. I'm telling you, it makes sense that Feige, that was probably Feige, and Alonso, that probably literally were like, you know what? Shang-Chi looks too good in this movie in the end, too powerful of a character.
Yeah.
We need girl power in this shit, right? The movie will only work, right, if we make sure that like Awkwafina's character actually kills the dragon thing herself with like her last arrow, and the shot's like 500 feet with wind, right?
Well, actually, I don't want to go to the
500-yard shot.
yeah, I know. It's ridiculous. I understand that. I don't want to
think about it, right? They may have changed that probably or something like that, or did that on purpose. Think about it. It's amazing when you think about it now, right? Like really, like Kevin Feige has an addiction to elevating female characters above everything else. It's more important than anything, I think, almost.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to get into
it's literally his friggin' like theme. No, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I understand. I knew this was gonna come up. It is the main theme in Phase 4 and a little bit of Phase 5.
No. What did you have? Did you have some sort of final like conversation for us to wrap up the Shang-Chi?
Yeah. So I want to address that. I think I want to address the Kate thing. The primary female. I think it's not as bad in Shang-Chi. It's actually better than some of the other projects. I think this is better than Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, because at least this, like, the female characters here are more badass, and like they're actually fun to watch, and like where like Wakanda Forever, Wakanda Forever.
I'll agree with you on that.
You know what I mean? Because they're part of the story, and like at least Kate is in the story, and like
better writing. Right? You know what I'm saying, right? Seriously.
Yeah, where like in Wakanda Forever, I felt some of it was kind of forced, like particularly Ironheart was kind of forced. The other was a soldier.
There's a certain way you got to handle it, right? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like it's sort of like the energy on the shows. Have you started to get this? Have you started to understand now, with all the time you spent with us on the Bleeding Edge panel? Have you started to understand why the difference that I feel too when feminine energy is not on the show?
Yeah.
Isn't there a difference?
Yeah, it's a difference. I mean, because
it's not a big deal. You understand that, right? I don't mind hanging out with with the guys, right? I mean, hey, most people who cover the MCU and cover the fandom stuff, it's all men anyway, right? You rarely see a chick. So I mean, if anything, I feel blessed, right? We should be thankful for all the damn female people we've had, all the women we've had on the panel over our time. We've done damn good with that, right?
Yeah. I agree.
That'd be one area where I think, if anything, like I would actually think we do deserve some praise. Like people should know that, like we've done that and achieved that over. We've had a lot of damn women on, more than I can count.
Yeah, and they have really good opinions too. Like Kendra is really good, and I like her points, and they're valid, and I mean she's on point on a lot of the points, and
they just don't. I understand now because of time and learning through evolution why it's hard to keep them around unless you give them a title, right? Women, you know what I'm saying? Like in content creation, unless you give them a co-host spot, unless you make them a fixture of some kind, they're not going to stick, right? And keep on and stay on the ride, right, forever. If they see an opportunity to be in a better position, right? Or they feel neglected, or in any way, if things are not, how things are in our culture, regardless of the Kevin Feige Marvel stuff. Yeah. If they feel any imbalance whatsoever, right, or anything, any slight against them, as where they feel like in their feminine way, in their women's ways, that they're not being validated well enough, or whatever you want to call it, they're out.
Yeah.
Right? Like literally. Or they'll stay on the show and start being toxic. Like I've had before in the past, where they just stay on just on purpose.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, that's what you call like they're really forcing the girl power thing really badly. And I just think that Shang-Chi does it way better. And plus the female characters are very strong, but they don't telegraph it like heavily.
But again, it's how you handle it. Look at Peggy Carter and What If, right? Nobody complains about really that much. You don't hear. There was at first in the first episode of What If season 1, there were some complaints about her playing Captain America. Not anymore. It makes sense. It's common sense. Why wouldn't she play Captain America? Right? She's Peggy Carter.
Yeah, and she went to a similar thing in the first Avenger film with Steve. Like they're both the same people.
Oh yeah, if Bucky can be Cap, right? If Sam can be Cap, right? Like all these people can be Cap. Why can't she be Cap?
Exactly, and it just makes sense, you know.
If you get the serum, it doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? You can be Dodge. Dodge can get the super soldier serum and become Captain America, right, Dodge?
Yeah, Captain. Oh my God, what do you call it, Captain?
His shield would have to be made of frozen bonies. Right? So he can fight and eat at the same time.
Oh my God, that is so hilarious. Yeah. Or like a boomerang, like the frisbee. The frisbee could be the shield, actually.
Yeah, so you can have a treat while in battle.
Yeah. So let's wrap up Shang-Chi. I guess, last thing to talk about Shang-Chi. Let's talk about the character Shang-Chi. Like I think briefly, I think Shang-Chi played by Simu Liu is really great. I think he's a great addition to the MCU. I'm very excited to him to be part of the Avengers. I want him to be interacting with different heroes like Sam, Doctor Strange, Wong, and all those other characters. It's Spider-Man as well, and I hope that this movie can do more, like inspire more, like street level, like fighting movies in superhero films, because that's the one thing I like about this. I like the action scenes here. They're some of the best in the MCU, in terms of fight choreography after the Winter Soldier, and of course the bus scene in the first act is great. It's iconic. I really like
one of the remarks I made to Trevor vocally. Really good fight choreography. How important it is.
Yeah, and I want to talk about that.
The position itself, to be able to be good at that position and whatnot, and helm that aspect of a film like this, how important it is.
Yeah, and that's the thing I liked about this movie, and that's why I liked about Black Widow, because the first two acts, the fight scenes were really great and raw.
Oh, what the hell did the Daredevil stuff on Netflix did a great job too.
Oh yeah. Oh, those are good. They're top tier. That's what I'm hoping that Borgen can deliver that, because that's the thing that people talk about there though, is the action scenes,
Well, really quick, just last side note thing, besides the book, which I've got to read too, right? I do. I want to read it. It's worth the investment, I think, probably, or finding it for free. No, what I was to say is just that what I forget the guy's name is on the tip of my tongue, because I was just watching a video about it the other day. Dave Loeb, whatnot, the guy that ran Daredevil, right? And that for Marvel with Netflix.
Yeah,
Jeff Loeb.
Yeah.
Well, he'll tell you, when asked, that back then there was such a clear linear separation between that Feige inner circle, right, and their grasp being only on the cinematic landscape, right, and TV being a separate thing, right, a completely separate entity where there was the only interactions they had was a sharing of information, right, just to help them craft their stories, right, and in whatever, in any connected ways possible that needed to occur, even loosely with it being Netflix, all that, they would share information like they all do, right? Yeah. They all, to some extent, have to, right? But either way, he said that when they did the Netflix stuff, there was a complete separation, completely, right? Like they covered, they did TV, they paid their dues, right? And took their orders from different people underneath Feige,
right? What's his name that ran the TV division?
Jeff Lowe and Mark was it Tugmummer as well? Some other
the guy from Disney that ran the TV division, right?
Yeah, Tugmummer and Jeff Lowe.
And Feige stayed out of the TV.
Yeah,
and his people, right? They let them. At least the Netflix stuff, they let it go. They left it alone because that's all there was the Netflix stuff.
Yeah, and Agents of Shield, and then we got like a couple of leads, and from the one-ways were in Hulu and
I don't mean to take anything away from Agents of Shield.
Yeah, no, I understand that. I mean, you have to be in a particular taste with Agents of Shield, and it's a great show. I've seen 6 seasons, and it's really great show.
Cut us out, sir. Give us a final word or a final question or everyone that so we can exit out of here. I don't need to plug anything.
No. All right. Well, let me show you your link, the MCU Bleeding.
We got a big week this week. Yes.
So let me recap what we're going to have, and then afterwards we're going to do our ratings for Shang-Chi. How about that? So First up, let me bring up our schedules. So Monday, tomorrow, is the MCU Monday Report with me and Jeff. We're going to do the 2 next episodes of X-Men animation series, episode 3 and 4.
Yep.
Titled Enter the Magneto and Deadly Wounds. So in these episodes, we get the introduction of Magneto plus Sabretooth. We get into more like the Wolverine and Sabretooth relationship, which is great. If you like their rivalry. And then tomorrow, besides that, our first segment for the show is Deadpool 3 stuff, like the rumors, the behind the scenes stuff that we've been kind of hearing about. Like, we're going to cover that in the first segment before we do the X-Men animation series review. So please check on us on 10 p.m. Eastern. Hopefully I'm saying that right. And then Wednesday is a movie review?
Echo episode 1.
Oh yes, Echo episode 1 review.
Big week, I told you.
I know it's a big week.
A lot of Marvel.
Oh my god, a lot of Marvel. I can't believe it. That's crazy. Episode 1.
We're gonna get heavy Marvel. We're gonna be talking a lot of Marvel. I have a feeling this year. This year's gonna be a big Marvel. Even though we don't have a lot, even though we don't have a lot of movies coming out, I have a feeling like we're gonna be talking about a lot of Marvel.
Yeah. Well, to be fair though, there's a way. Like, I know we're getting 1 MCU film, but technically we got like 4.
Oh, we got like 5 series to cover.
Yeah, 5
They're
series.
just all animated.
Yeah, and then
it's 4, Agatha.
Yeah, and 4 Marvel movies. Mine is the MCU film. Of course, the 3 is the Sony ones. Yeah, it's gonna be big for Marvel.
If you any whatever you need to fill your tank of reviewing episodes of animated Marvel will be filled by the end of 2024.
Exactly. And then Friday we got What If season 2 review of episode 6 and 7. So check us on that.
Yep.
Okay.
That's right.
Yep. And here's the link, MCU Bleeding H. Please check that. Please support Jeff and us, to continue on with this, content.
And those shows are short, folks. Just just like they're about the same as the shows we do over here with when we do our lives, right? And we have a lot of people on the panels, and it still doesn't matter because the What If episodes are so short. Yeah.
I mean, it's like basically what Shang-Chi, the review right now, is like an hour and a half or something like that. So it's very short, folks. Check us What If for Friday. It'll be pretty awesome. Jeff, let's get into the rating. How are you going to rate Shang-Chi? I'm kind of curious about this.
It deserves at least a solid 7.
Okay.
Which is not a bad rating.
No. I agree. No. Hey, I respect that. You got valid reasons, and I respect.
Again, 5 is the midpoint, right?
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. 7 is definitely like the like mid tier, S tier.
It means better, more good than bad.
Yeah. No. I agree. I like that. And favorite action scene from the movie? Let me add that. Like what
scene or actor or actress?
Yeah.
Which one?
Favorite character actress, like in this movie.
The Michelle Yeoh's character.
Okay. Awesome. Yeah, I like her too. I'm
or Death Dealer.
Oh, he's good. He was good. I was so sad they killed him off. So
I know the why. I don't understand why. I never did. I was pissed.
Yeah.
They did that. I'm like, what the frig, man? Like, seriously, why not keep him around?
Yeah, he could have been a great villain for the next sequel.
It's just like I for some reason it's something that'll be connected a bunch of times to what's his now her name from Black Widow.
Was it Taskmaster?
Yes, Taskmaster. For some reason, those two characters that we've linked in the past and talked about. Taskmaster, right? And then how they did him in the right from the comics to the film, like to the Black Widow. Yeah. And then right, Death Dealer. Like this how they've been treated. This wasn't good.
Yeah. I mean
the characters, you know what I'm saying? This is what they weren't like done given service like almost.
Yeah. Well, Taskmaster I felt like was
again the trailers don't help because they elevate these characters. They do. Like Death Dealer they elevated in the trailers, right?
Yeah. Well
yeah.
I mean, a little bit. I feel like Taskmaster was a big, like, it felt like...
Taskmaster was huge.
Yeah, well, it felt more like the Mad Good twist again. Like, people, like, we didn't know what was the identity of Taskmaster until
you can't blame the comic book accurate types for seeing that as, like, a betrayal.
Yeah. Well, for me, I wasn't betrayal. I didn't mind it. My problem was we didn't spend too much on the twist. Like, it was too late to bring in the third act.
I don't like how they took away the powers and made it all about machinery and like tech.
Yeah.
Right? The fighting skill, the fighting ability, the ability to match fighting styles, whatnot, everything. The whole deal with Taskmaster is the fact that like part of what makes him so cool is the fact that his power is that ability.
Yeah.
That photo crap, whatever, whatnot, like Echo has similarly.
Yeah,
Echoes is more radar, right? Because she's mute.
Yeah, it's the five senses, like similar to Daredevil, like
Daredevil, yes, but also similar to Taskmaster too, in terms of what she can do, right? It's just what she can do. It's not that's similar.
Yeah, if a lot of people don't know, like Taskmaster has like this special memory,
photogenic memory ability, right? Yes.
Yeah, and it's a real thing in real life.
It is, yes.
You read that, and this one, it's like much higher because it's more like a special ability.
It just can't make you into like a superhuman, like a super. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In real life.
Yeah.
It'd be cool if it could, but it doesn't.
Yeah, which is sad. My rating will be a 9 out of 10. I really like it, as I brought up before. It's my personal favorite in the MCU rankings, and the reason it's not 10 out of 10 is the third act is really weak. I cannot really defend that. I'm with Jeff. That's where you're really losing your interest in the film, and I cannot fault that. It's the same problem with Black Widow's third act. I mean, if the fact that we're talking about Taskmaster, like the whole third act of Black Widow is just a mess. Like the flying sky thing is so bad.
Yeah, she's an OG Avenger, one of the original six.
Yeah.
So like, I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's hard for me to tear. It was hard for me to tear. It's hard for me to tear up that film at all.
Yeah, I mean, I don't hate it, but it is the weak part when people talk about it, and I can understand from Jeff and everyone talking about Shang-Chi. The third act is really bad and weak. Yeah, I cannot defend it. It's really bad. I think if you stick with Wenwu as the main villain instead of the evil spirit thing, then the movie could have been easily being a 10 out of 10. But unfortunately, it's not. So a 9 out of 10 for me. And favorite character. No, thank you. no, it's 9 out of 10. And favorite character is the mom. Actually, you speaking of trailers, I think the trailer never gave us the mom. The mom was the big surprise when we saw the film. I thought she was great.
No, the mom should be from -1 was the best. The one that got blown away by the hurricane to a different country to survive.
Please. I love that movie, but I mean, first up,
did I send that off the cuff to Trevor? Right, like literally, as a, like that. You know how good I am. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was almost too good. Like he didn't even. It took him for a minute to realize how funny it was. I'm like, yeah, watch. She's gonna be alive. She survived somehow. She's in South Africa. She was found in another country, right? And she landed on soft rocks.
Yeah, I was surprised, that she survived towards the end. And plus, is she going to be a kaiju monster because there was something in the neck?
No. Was it something that no. Well, let's save our -1 conversation. We can talk. Well, we need to talk about it, but we'll save it for Bleeding Edge report.
Yeah. Hey, if we want to do, I don't know if you want to do that for our next live stream, we could do that and discuss what we like.
Oh yeah, we could.
That's
actually a great thought. I'll ask Cyber too. We'll ask Cyber if he wants to come on.
Yep. Well, everyone, thank you for joining me and Jeff to do this live stream review on Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I hope you guys enjoy it. I'm happy that I talked about it. It was great. See us, this week as we, recap the whole, activities for this week. And yeah, have a good night. Good night, folks. Ciao.
Good night, folks. Take care.